Hey guys, everyone, welcome back. This is our 8th episode, I guess, of Jetil Podcast, and we have our guest here as usually. Our second host, Aidos, is here.
The Grand Kung Fu Master.
How are you, bro?
What's going on, man?
You woke up?
Yes.
Still good?
Finally.
Feel better?
Yeah. I feel
Great.
I feel more testosterone in there. That's why. Welcome, John.
Yeah. And we have our second guest speaker, as usually, John.
Yes,
Hi guys,
John.
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Straight from California.
Straight from California.
Great.
Nice voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just
No.
kind of enjoy it. Just felt it. Good. Okay, right. I mean, so we're back today, and I think we're going to touch upon different topics today also related to the United States and maybe Kazakhstan and maybe some other questions. And as I just heard, you came recently from India.
Yes, I've spent about the past 6 months in India. I went back home to the States for a couple weeks in the middle there, but I'm an actor. I'm a theater practitioner, and so that's kind of where I see my work is as an actor in theater. And India has a really, really rich history in various parts of it with various regional traditions that go back, in some cases thousands of years. With various indigenous forms of theater that I had the real pleasure of getting to know practitioners that are still working in those forms.
Cool. So that was like a program or something?
Yeah, so that was a grant I was awarded at the end of university that I wanted to use to sort of do a deeper exploration because I'm really interested in ways that traditional performers can cross over with a lot of avant-garde performance work. You said you've been to Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a dancer I love there named Mintanaka who is he's a Buto offshoot, I think, and he does all sorts of work with different performers and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that was like a direct program to India, learning and gaining experience.
Yeah, so that was some funding I won, and then I sort of had to self-direct the program myself. And I went there not really knowing that many people. I knew maybe like one theater company based in Pondicherry, and then through meeting them, I met like other artists working in various places. I went to Kerala for a long time. I went to Goa. I went to Mumbai and met various people doing various things there. Yeah.
Theater actor, right?
Theater actor. I like film as well. I like TV too. I mean, if I was
I don't mind, right?
Yeah, I don't mind at all. I think fundamentally it's the same craft.
Nice,
it's the
man.
same.
Sure.
Same work. Yeah.
It's the same. I think it's the same here in Kazakhstan. I know a lot of theater actors who are just like starting
I have
acting in different
huge respect
TV
for them, man.
shows
It's
and
like especially
films.
theater acting, man. It's I don't know.
It's very hard to be an actor here.
Yeah.
Super hard. You just kind of survive, I guess.
Yeah.
There were a lot
is.
of actors and artists who were just complaining about the salary, and there are a lot of interviews where they say that it's very hard
They
to survive
sacrifice
here.
so much for the work, man.
Exactly.
And
Especially
so
being a
underrated.
theater actor.
Yeah.
If you're not shooting in
Yeah,
movies.
that's true. I think the whole world over, I find a little bit where like obviously currency is valued different ways, different places, but wherever you are, the theater actor will be pretty lowly paid next to the society.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going. I'm taking my daughter soon because I want her to experience that. It's come on, it's different. It's totally. I think watching a movie and being in a theater, I think it's like two different experiences, and I have like huge respect.
But
I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be an actor when I
Really?
was a kid. Yeah, but it's.
I think everyone at some point of their childhood, maybe they would like to
and
become an
I
actor
figured
or an
it's
artist
not
or
so
anything.
easy. It's not so easy as it seems.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I would like to talk a bit about since I didn't really know that you were an actor,
Yeah.
and that was kind of
Yeah.
surprising for me. So I'm really curious about all this Hollywood culture in the U.S. and stuff.
Yeah, I
So-
can tell you what I know. I mean, being from Los Angeles myself.
Yeah,
but
I mean, have you heard about the Kazakh guy? I mean, I'm not sure if you ever heard about him, but he became really popular recently, directing different TV shows and not only
Music videos. You mean
Sultan. If you ever heard about him.
Sultan, I've not heard of. What has he directed?
He directed recently for Kanye.
Okay.
Yeah, and also for 21
his
Savage.
whole concert at the Mercedes Arena, I think.
Sure. He
Yeah.
directed
The whole
for
thing,
that,
he
yeah.
did.
I
the whole
mean,
thing.
the guy is doing great job. I think.
Yeah, he's so young.
Super,
Also.
just impressive. impressive. So, I mean, it was just kind of curious for me. Once in the interview, he was saying that it's very hard. I mean, you got to work so hard to become at least notable in the US in all this Hollywood.
Content.
Not only do you have to work hard, I do think sort of there is some luck that comes down and intervenes and pulls someone's card at a various point. I think there's plenty of hardworking people in Hollywood.
So many competitors all over the world, and then you just have to.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talented people who you get their shot late in life. Sometimes it doesn't come. Sometimes they give up early. It's definitely a grindhouse kind of culture
But it didn't scare you in the beginning, like
it didn't scare me primarily. I think because that's kind of the world where I come from. I think that so a bunch of my parents' family, friends growing up. I grew up in a situation where I grew up far from my biological relatives. So they live in a state of Michigan in the U.S. And my parents moved out to L.A. at some point in their lives. And they moved out with a bunch of friends who themselves are all actors as well. And, these are people you would know from probably playing like supporting parts in movies and, getting leads in plays. But again, as we mentioned about theater artists, that, doesn't necessarily translate to, clout in the same way that some other things do. But, and what I really see in those people, which I love and respect so much, is just how hard they work, like you were saying, and how hard they work to try and make what they're doing good, even if it's just for like 4 people who show up.
Yeah, that's what I respect about them, bro. Like they don't. It's not about the money. Like when they work, they just put everything 200%.
It's really really interesting. I think I was talking with a friend about this when I was in New York. He was saying he knows someone who's a dancer. And he's got a very like high powered, high paying job, but he was saying that he often feels directionless a little bit with his life in terms of like which way it's going to go, like where does he want to take it? He's just doing the same job day in and day out. Whereas like his friend who's a dancer, she obviously maybe she doesn't know like when her next job is coming, but like that's the thing that like she has her eye like set on from the get go, and so it's sort of. I think provides a compass a little bit, in a way you want to take your life.
That's a great focus, I think.
Yeah.
On what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the end goal, you know who you want to be, and then you'll find a way.
Yeah. Sure.
So do you have any goals like that? Trying yourself in Hollywood?
Yeah. I mean, I have the whole like setup ready to go. Yeah, with like the headshots and the looking for the agent and all that. I think that too though, if that doesn't come my way, that's okay. I think there's a lot of good work to be done in the field of like theater research, specifically in academia, around. And this is in large part why I was in India, in India as well, as that I think theater really has an opportunity that people aren't giving it credit for to investigate the body as a tool for meditation and focus and concentration. So like you were talking about earlier before we started rolling about like life coaches and all that, but. And people have this method, you got to wake up at this time and do this and do that. And I think something people don't realize is that actors are kind of doing like little weird idiosyncratic things off the clock, like all the time.
Of course.
That are, changing their habits, changing their mind, changing the direction they're taking things, allowing them to see things in a new perspective. In the same way that, you see a lot of studies coming out about meditation and like, what that can do for a person. I think that a lot of actor training has the ability to do the same and to take people's life in a direction that maybe they wouldn't have expected it to.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I just was curious about the thing with, I know that the European people are really popular in China.
Yeah.
European looking people. I mean,
just say it, bro. White people.
Caucasian people.
Sure, yeah.
So, did you feel that personally while being in India? I mean, this kind of demand or
I felt that a little bit. Yeah, I think I felt that. I didn't feel that necessarily in regard to the film industry as much.
Outside in the streets.
Yeah. It was more like, you know, people would approach me for selfies like here or there, and if you say you're an actor too, then, you know, they expect you to like, you know, roll like a big list of films you've been in.
Yeah, it's just really funny though. I mean, I was watching some videos on Instagram, I guess. Like there were some Russian girls just walking by at the streets in India, and then a lot of Indian people were just following them, like, you know, and taking photos all around and just like hugging her.
Yeah, they probably had some small towns. I don't know.
Yeah.
You still can. You see, even in China,
you get extra attention there.
Like if a black person goes to a small town in China, like they will just go straight to him and touch his skin, his hair. Like it's it's weird. And also, my friend, like you said, you mentioned China. I'm thinking, I have a good friend from Georgia. I mean, like Eastern Europe, Georgia. His name is George, and he's not even an actor, bro.
Like he's just Georgia.
He's just white, and he's been in like almost all the commercials. Yeah, like for apps, and sometimes he plays a dad, sometimes he plays a football player. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know, like he's not a professional actor. He's not a professional actor. Really, he just looks good.
He was just a random student at the university.
Yeah, and then like it works out for him. Yeah. You know, so I think it's easier for if you're a foreigner, and especially if you're white, it's so easy for you to, you know, get things done in China or in those countries.
There's a lot of contributing factors to that too. I think that, you know, have caused, you know, specifically in like, you know, industries like entertainment, like, you know, with your friend for commercials, like, you know. Beauty to be focused around or constructed around whiteness, which goes back into, you know, massive years of geopolitical history, which I think sort of needs to be undone. Personally.
Also English teaching. They'd rather hire a white person who doesn't speak a good English as an English teacher.
It was so funny to me.
Instead of hiring an American guy who is Asian, like who's
yeah. I mean, one thing that would happen to me is, you know, being from California, like my accent is very, very different than like Indian English, which is its own, like, you know, holistic dialect. Yeah. That's kind of similar a little bit in some ways to, So, you know, if I met a friend who was British, he had a much easier time communicating with people, whereas like, you know, I'm throwing in like weird slang from like LA and New York, and like people are like, I don't know like what you're saying, right? I'm probably speaking worse English than you are, I think, at this point.
That's right. Yeah, English, man. English is such an interesting language now. It's international, and I don't think anyone can own it now.
Not at all.
Yeah, because if you go to Dubai, and you know, Dubai is just filled with immigrants, right? Just 90% immigrants, and they all speak bad English. So the moment you start speaking a good English, say, hi, excuse me, I need this, and they don't understand.
Exactly.
You have to speak with an accent.
I even faced it once at the airport. I mean, I was just standing, that was a check-in, and I was just like talking to him in using my English, and they're like, sorry, like, because they speak with the really thick accent. Yeah. And they were surprised, basically.
I speak with an accent in Dubai.
And I just try to speak with the accent, like, with them. So
I just say, brother, just give me two. Brother, wait. No, you sit. You know, you have to be very literal. It's strange. Exactly. And then if you get used to it, it's bad. And then you go somewhere else.
You go somewhere else.
You have to shoot a podcast.
That's the main reason I tried to avoid that. Try to just like, all right, let me just say it as slowly as possible, but use my accent. Yeah,
don't get used to it. It's weird. Yeah. But now I think here in Kazakhstan, wait, John just landed this morning, right? Actually,
I just landed this morning. Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. So
you have only 2 days to be here, right?
I have only 2 days in Almaty. I'm going to Semey with Emma in a few days. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
I don't know if that's like, you know, insider information for the podcast or whatever, but
the guy downstairs when we're getting a coffee, he also spoke English. I like that thing, you know.
Yeah. I think younger generation is like they must have English now.
I also noticed they talk using English slangs now. Mm-hmm. You know, and they write it in Kazakh, but they just use it as a, like, you know, it's like
like what
daily thing now. It's like
sup.
Yeah. Cringe they use, what else? Like a bunch of English words.
A lot of things.
Cringe base.
No worries.
No worries.
No worries.
Now it's like they're speaking it in Kazakh, but they're using English terms.
I think it's just all the impact of media, like how it works. TV series, Netflix, probably all these kind of things affect the way we accept English. I mean, because we're not learning English using textbooks anymore. We basically learn it on Netflix nowadays.
On the screen.
Watching TV shows and podcasts.
Yeah, that's a great way to learn a language is to, like pop on the subtitles of like the language you're seeing and, see what the word looks like written on the subtitle.
Once you get famous, we're going to use these clips, Right?
I hope so, please do.
We're going to sell it back to you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a big fingers crossed for if I get famous,
Your agent will probably contact
problem,
us.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm the agent. So I was like, well, this is the price. Send it over.
Sure.
Great.
Yeah.
So, getting back to the Hollywood and stuff, did you try yourself at the tryouts also already?
Yeah. I mean, the way it works in LA, I don't know how it is in Kazakhstan. Is that there's a couple of websites that you have profiles on, and you're on there like searching gigs for day in and day out, sending your info, sending your stuff, and no one will tell you immediately like what the professional standard is. Like they sort of like gatekeep that knowledge a little bit, and you have to like go out and find it as to like what a good headshot looks like, what a good resume looks like. And so I sort of spent maybe like the first like 6 months or so out of school like sort of building that stuff while there was still pandemic going on, and I was sitting on my travel money or whatever. And so I built all that stuff. I'll probably look at those profiles again when I go back to the U.S. I mean they're probably rotting away at this point, but I think too at some point I'm not sure entirely what the culture is with I mean, they say you have to be a little bit like relentless and with trying to reach out to people who maybe you don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out in the old days, the thing you would always hear people say was that they would like, slip their resume under like someone's door in the building. But obviously now with like email and everything, I'm trying to figure out like what's the protocol with that?
You gotta you gotta keep trying. I think you've got a good chance, bro.
Look,
I hope so.
I'm also interested about the network there, like networking.
Yeah.
How is that important?
That's major important.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing I found is stay close with your friends, man. Like keep those people close to you because if something good happens for someone, like it kind of lifts everybody else up a little bit. Yeah.
And keep your enemies closer.
Yeah. I mean the one time I performed in like an off-Broadway theater in New York, it was because through a friend of a friend, like I knew the playwright. And so I mean, oftentimes there's a casting process, but if it's a little bit more informal and people are just trying to like, if it's a new work especially, people are trying to find someone who's a little bit, they have a recommendation, is a little bit more willing to play ball, work for the script rather than, for something else. And that's how you meet people.
I always say, bro, 80% of the your success is networking, because that's
more
how
people
exactly,
Exactly.
That's how you have to build it up. I think also I was thinking about Bollywood.
Yeah.
So it's too many questions, right? Not enough answers about Bollywood. So who, how did they get? They have.
I should say off the bat, I probably don't have the answer, but
no, it's not bad because it's those weird things you see in Bollywood movies.
Like what?
Like, just anti-physical law. You see flying horses and the guy, curving bullets and not dying with the bullet in your forehead.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, how did they, like, somebody writes it, right? Writes the whole scenario. And how did they pass it? Who approves them?
The interesting thing is that a lot of our people watch this TV show.
Yes, exactly. They also make money. They spend money, and I see they blowing up cars. Obviously, someone is watching. Some people are watching these movies. So, how did you get to explore a bit about Bollywood?
Yeah, I know a bunch of people now who are like working in Bollywood, in various regional cinemas as well too. So the Malayalam industry in Kerala, the Tamil industry in Tamil Nadu. I think one thing about that's interesting, and one thing that I really, really love about Indian cinema is that like it's for the people. completely. Like
it is big, bro.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I think I was saying earlier to someone that while because of again currency values, it doesn't command the same like box office numbers that like a Hollywood movie might. I think more people see like your average Bollywood movie than your average Hollywood movie. So like in terms of like eyes who have seen whatever the message is of that, like Bollywood, regional cinemas, Telugu industry, Kannada industry, Malayalam, Tamil, all of those, Bengali. In India, they're really commanding people's hearts and minds. Going to a movie in India is so much fun because like everybody talks the whole time. It's like you're watching with your friends.
Really? Is that quiet?
It's awesome. Yeah, no, people get up and dance to the songs because the music industry too is centered around the movies.
Oh, it's
a
cooperation.
Yeah. So people, it's like the release of like your new favorite artist's like album coming out the same time as the movie.
It is. I've tried to watch a movie till the end. I couldn't.
But there are some good movies, though. I mean, very high quality movies also.
Yes, we grew up to this Indian the TV series. Like we used to watch them, and it's really weird because it's a lot of music videos in a movie. Like
Still,
it just happens.
Yeah.
Just,
I think that's the part of it.
It goes like this. It's like it's like we're talking, and then I start singing all of a sudden now, and then the camera.
Yeah, it's a little bit like
dancing.
like old school Hollywood musicals in that sense, and a lot of them, yeah.
So it's probably I think it's a musical, right?
Musical.
Yeah.
And then there's a fight scene which goes even crazier. The guy flips a guy just by touching his ear, like boom.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I cannot I just keep having this. I keep imagining the scene where the guy comes and is like, "Excuse me, sir. This is what we came up with. The guy is gonna shoot a horse at a car, who's gonna blow up, and they approve it."
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
I
asked.
like it. That's.
I asked
all
my
about
friend.
mentality.
He's from India. I asked him like, "What's wrong with your movies?" And he was like, "Listen, the
like
population of India is crazy,
Yeah.
and you just put out anything, you get a nice box office."
Yeah. Too, you have stars too who like really command people's respect, and like people want to see the star like flip the car with his finger. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
and the Bollywood stars, man, they have crazy like fan base.
Yeah, I've heard recently that
I've seen a
the
video
richest,
of Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah,
the
Shah Rukh Khan,
richest
yeah.
actor is
He
Shah Rukh
came out
Khan
and
in the
then
world,
like
which
he
is-
comes out as a pope, and
Wow.
like the fans are like just
Yeah.
filled the whole street full of
Yeah,
fans.
heard about that as well. Interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think too. Because it's so big and there are so many movies, you do get a smaller crowd of a little bit more like maybe what we would call realistic movies, and people who like that kind of cinema as well, or who like the art house cinema. And I was very fortunate to make friends with some of those people. I think it's particularly the Malayalam film industry. They're like they're the equivalent of like what we would call like like the indie darling like pictures, where they're like small budget, turning them out like doubling, quadrupling the profit, and consistently like good storytelling, like the method is very simple, like small budget, like a few locations. Tell something good, and people will come watch it. And
They have crazy dramas though.
Yeah.
Like very crazy dramas. Like women, they love it.
Yeah.
They love it. What type of movies you like yourself?
I like all movies. I like old school stuff. I really like Akira Kurosawa's samurai films.
Wow.
I like old school noir too. I have a real soft spot for like Double Indemnity, if you know that movie. Recently, I obviously I think like A24 in US is churning out major experimental movies all the time. Like have you guys seen that guy Ari Aster's movies?
Sure.
Yeah.
Reincarnation.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
also the
Hereditary.
Yeah. The one which was shot in Sweden, I guess.
Yeah, Midsummer. Yeah.
Midsummer. Wow.
Love that guy's stuff. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
So you have time to watch movies, man?
Because I mean, people recommend it, and I just like I'm a really big fan of horror movies.
I love horror movies too.
Really, man,
Yeah,
I hate
am.
horror movies.
I am, and I was just looking for something new, in a genre. I mean, because there are a lot of ghosts and paranormal stuff, but then I watched Ari Aster and then kind of impressed.
Yeah.
Well, that was something new in this genre. And
I like biopics and old school gangster movies. Yeah. They shoot and
Tarantino.
A lot of actions.
Godfather obviously is up there.
Godfather.
Tarantino is great also.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, something like that. I like shootings, killings, and chaos. Scams.
I have a little bit of a soft spot for that myself as well.
Yeah, You can. I think every man enjoys those movies.
I have a question towards the thing with choosing your major. I mean, do your parents have any bias towards choosing acting major? For example, here, because it is, right? I mean, our parents they don't really like approving
they don't support
you
your
becoming
dreams,
an
man.
actor.
Yeah,
if it doesn't match with their dreams, it's like, no, I want to become a musician. I was like, what? Do what?
Yeah, in that regard, I really won the lottery with my parents because they're both artists themselves. They're both writers primarily. My dad wanted to be a poet when he graduated school, right? Which is like, talk about an actor making no money. Like a poet's not going to make anything, right? And so
it's not difficult. It's not easy.
Yeah, and they've been friends with artists their whole lives, and I think they really sort of saw it as like this is the community that has sort of kept and guided our lives, and so like obviously they hear it from all their friends that like it's not hard. It's like it is hard. It's hard, but it's rewarding in some sense, even if maybe it really gets you down some days. So I think they wouldn't have it any other way for me if I'm being honest. Now that I know is not true probably for like any actor in any country, like all over the world. Like
it is. That's the truth. But everybody.
But it's just like but it's really cool. I mean that if you are like just basically pushing your major.
Listen, now that like. If now I'm 33, 34, and now I understand that it's better, I would choose something like this. I would choose something that I love because, at the end of the day, life has to have a meaning. You only get to live once. It's better to enjoy, while you doing it.
What you want.
Yeah. So I think it's still you have to let your kids be.
But you were saying about like joy. And enjoying what you do, but
I didn't
sometimes
find
life
myself,
gets
bro.
you.
I didn't find myself.
You didn't find
I stopped looking for myself.
I'm just talking about. I mean, we can do what we want, but at the end of the day, I mean, sometimes life, stuff.
Yeah,
life can push
you have to pay the bills and all that. Yeah, so
that's what I'm talking about.
So I used to think that everyone should find their own, pace or find themselves as like there's this guy's a chef and this guy's a tailor, this guy's a singer, this is a musician. You have to find yourself. I was looking for myself. I played basketball. I did music. I wrote music. I was playing instruments. I was learning English. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I worked like if you look at my resume, bro. I've worked. I was an HR agent. I was a salesperson. I did everything, and I didn't enjoy anything. I don't like to do. So I think I am a serial chiller. I think I mean
that's kind of being a podcaster. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think you found yourself, man.
I was always looking for something. So that I was always looking for a way to get paid without doing anything. So I spent
sounds like podcast.
Sounds like a podcast. You're on TikTok nowadays.
Yeah. So now
I think you found yourself.
I spent 7 years to reach this, bro. Now I don't do anything, and I just get paid for having the right contacts, like you said, the networking. So I got connections all over the planet. Really.
Yeah.
Like I just connect people and I get paid. So I'm a middleman. I want to do this. Expanded. I want to make 10 times, 100 times more, so I can pay more people to do absolutely nothing, bro. I'm so lazy, you have no idea, bro. But I'm very disciplined, but I'm super lazy. So yeah, that's and the sad part is I don't have a passion. He has a passion for language and music and all that. He's a very happy guy.
No, I just do what I like to do.
I'm a happy but very tired guy.
I think with the internet and with the rise of social media, it became so easy nowadays. I mean, you actually can just show what you do and then just enjoy it, I guess. And
I cannot show what I do, bro. Part of it's illegal. I'm untraceable. I hacked the matrix.
But yeah, I mean, just I think the social media became really it made everything so easy nowadays. I mean, if you're really like an art person, you can just show, enjoy, and I don't know.
And governments keep trying to tax this online personas, internet personas. Our government's trying so hard, but cannot find a way to tax them. Because how can you tax them? Come on,
you just get money for ads.
Yeah,
for making an
exactly.
Ads.
So yeah, I hope I'm gonna also make it. Not as in online. I hope I'm gonna get famous so people can buy my courses.
Because everything is changing though.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of social media influencers on Instagram and on YouTube who became really, who eventually became actors.
Yeah,
Actors,
yeah,
for
it
example.
goes that way.
Bro,
Sometimes,
we have a lot of bloggers in Kazakhstan in movies.
Starring nowadays.
Yeah, they have never acted like before. Now
Sure.
they're like casting in like major Kazakhstan movies.
I think that's all kind of similar to each other because you're on media and you were a media persona, and it's like
you definitely.
As long as
probably
you're
have a
inside,
great
It's
talking
kind of
experience.
as long as you're inside, inside your phone, it's like because for a normal person, actor, blogger, whatever, whoever is on YouTube, they just
It's
just
the
push them
face,
in the
sure.
face, push them in the same
Yeah.
same area.
they have an audience, and then it's a
Yeah.
good marketing tool, I guess.
Probably you also.
promote
Probably you're gonna end up in some movies also. Who knows?
I'm waiting for it.
You might play. You might play in a Kazakh guy who was born in America. Like who knows?
Be Kazakh Tom Cruise.
I will not be surprised because of the things that are changing for the past few years in the world. So I won't be surprised. Like I don't now I never use the word never anymore. So
But don't you feel yourself like a bit? I'd say it's not fair sometimes that people who are not
that the social media people are getting the
they just became popular. They just
I don't know if it's unfair. I mean, I think we're living in a market-driven system in some ways where that's not going to be fair to people entirely, and I'm obviously that's maybe not something I sort of see that as like that's bigger than me, right? I might object to it. I might think it needs more regulation. I might think I might think there are better systems where sometimes you've seen in various points in history schools of actors being brought up and then they become whoever people see in a certain generation, and you get really good talented people out of that. But if at the end of the day somebody would rather go with a blogger over me, I know to myself that I'd probably do better at the part. So that's their loss, right?
That's what I like about the U.S. system. Yeah. Generally, I mean, they do what they're good at, and I mean, everyone is at their own place.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a blogger, you're a blogger, and if you're an actor, you're an actor. Here, the blogger may become
whoever
a deputy.
Yeah.
The blogger may become an official.
Yeah, a government official. It's weird.
Which is strange.
You do see that in the U.S. though. I mean, we've had two presidents, one who came out of media and one who came out of reality TV.
Yeah.
So
listen,
but
it's
still
the same thing. It's like look at the Paul brothers, right? Jake Paul.
Logan.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he now he's a boxer, and he's doing pretty good.
But I think that it's just about their lifestyle. I think those brothers are it's just their lifestyle, what they do.
YouTubers, and now end up being a professional boxer, man. It's a lot of boxers, they say they think it's unfair because they went to sports school, they've been training for years, blah blah blah.
I don't really think people are considering them as professionals, that they're still amateurs.
Yeah, I mean,
still a lot of it just
we know the
YouTuber,
boxer who like has been training for years would kick Jake Paul's ass, right? Like, I mean, it's just
he lost the last one.
Oh, the last one lost
to Tommy.
So yeah, I was just saying that it's really good to see that I mean they would still prefer a professional to do his job in the US. But
well, it's getting hard because we live in an attention-based economy now.
Yeah, I don't know that that's entirely true that they would prefer a professional to do. I think it sort of depends on what the project is, like who the creator is.
Because why am I saying that? Is that because I watch a lot of Netflix TV shows and TV series, and then I trace, I follow all those actors and just look into their backgrounds, what they used to do and so on. And then a lot of them were like at art schools. They were real movie actors before. And then it's pretty impressive.
But now, now it's changing, man. Now anybody can do anything, and people, I don't know since when they have this idea that you can do anything. You know,
they do everything.
you can achieve anything, you can do anything. You just have to put your mind into it. I don't know now, and also it's an attention-based economy, man. As long as you can get attention, good or bad, you can monetize it. So that's why people are doing a lot of stupid stuff. Look at that Russian blogger. He just crashed, I think, brand new Lamborghini, the truck. Yeah,
I hadn't heard about that.
He dropped I don't know how many tons of the wrecking ball on top of that brand new car,
Lamborghini.
just for views, man.
That will end up as a good thing. I don't really think so.
Yeah, that's not good. Of course, people are doing like crazy things for attention. As long as crazy people get attention. I don't know. I think sometimes it seems like people they enjoy watching people doing crazy things.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a voyeuristic economy element.
Because look what kind of views they get, man. Like some like fails. Yeah. Or when I get bored, I used to watch this fail army on YouTube. They get crazy views, man, for people failing. Just watch 1 hour of people failing.
Yeah, crazy. That's right.
And I would like to thank those people who shoot at the right moments, who people... Sure. I never get a camera when things...
I mean, that's a talent in itself, is to be rolling all the time and capture that right
It's like, I get it on the film.
That's a real talent.
Because I keep missing those moments, I never have my camera. Like, I never turn it on.
Yeah. There's a really cool show on HBO right now called How To with John Wilson, where he's a guy from New York who just has his camera on, like, all the time, basically. And so then... in filming people and doing different, seeing different encounters with people, he's really just able to like stitch it together into a, sort of like subliminal framework that sort of makes sense to the viewer who's watching it. But like, really, it's just a sequence of like, funny like chance encounters he has. But that's because that guy like never turns the camera off. Basically, it's a real commitment to.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. And then from that being able to find what's the valuable stuff in there.
I think that's the next. I think that's the next big thing, because now that content, everybody is using like filters and whatever, trying to beautify it or make it better. Now I think at some point people will get tired of it, and then we will have some apps probably that we can only shoot while using the app. Like you don't upload, you just shoot it, and you cannot use any filters, and you cannot use nothing like that. So it's like
the natural, absolutely natural.
Yeah, because I think people will want to see more real things now, like pretty soon. I think that's like it's coming.
But it's called life.
Yeah. There's a social media app right now. Do you know about this app called Be Real?
No.
It's an app where like apparently you get a push notification like once a day. You post a front back selfie, like no filters, nothing. Just of like what you're doing at that moment. And if you don't do it at the right time, they'll like, call you out for being late on your post. You can only see other people's posts.
No way, man. There's an app like that now?
There's an app like that right now. I sort of think it's like, like France's attempt to get in the social media game a little bit, because, I mean, with the CEO of a social media company being from a certain place, you kind of know that like that government is behind the social media company a little bit, right? And so French CEO pops on with like new app, and I think it's France's attempt to.
It's cool, but I think it's also it's good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it's like real time thing then.
Yeah, no, I thought about that.
People will know where you at the moment.
First week I saw that, I was like, I was very, very paranoid
about it. A lot of rappers got shot and killed in America for using their locations.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Especially their girlfriends. They just post the restaurant like, oh, just chilling or go live.
Yeah.
Wow.
Recently, there's like this rapper guy. Also,
there's so much information that's accessible. Not even to I mean, I think we all think about it like some big person is watching, but really like if you just want to like go on and find something out about someone, like that's there for you to find, right?
The bad thing is also media is not asking it. They're not asking us where you at. Just tell me. Just doing it. You're posting everything by yourself. You look. We're posting our podcast. People know like exactly what we do.
You know what I'm curious about?
What?
I was just wondering if you've been living in LA, right?
I was living in LA for a little while. I've been living in New York too.
The question is, I mean, have you ever faced or seen any popular, famous celebrities there?
I've seen plenty.
Plenty?
Yeah, plenty.
Wow.
Me too, bro. I've seen plenty. Yeah, in Beijing, I've seen the Dwayne Rock Johnson. I've seen Scarlett Johansson. I was actually at the same table with.
So I can touch you then.
Yeah, you can touch me. Go ahead, bro. Yeah. Nicole Kidman. Yeah, we were at the same event in Turkey. There was the opening of a big 5-star hotel.
And that's absolutely okay too. I mean, there's probably no reaction to them when you get used to them, right? When you see them.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I mean, internally there's like a major heart flutter, and you get very nervous.
What was the biggest star you've seen?
I don't want to. I don't want to be the person who's like gushing star stories on the podcast.
Come on,
just one name.
Okay, yeah, no. When I was cat sitting in Venice Beach, I saw John Bernthal, the Punisher.
The Punisher,
him?
I know.
With
the white, with the black T-shirt with his skull.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He didn't have his Punisher thing on. He was like shooting some other show, but he was right on the block where I was staying, and I kind of snuck down to the film set. Whoa, and watched him work for a little while, and I was like, yeah, no, he's a very, very talented actor too. He came up from like the trenches, like working with theater companies like all over the world, and
I had that T-shirt.
Yeah.
I had that T-shirt when I was a kid. I think
Really?
it's an old movie. I think 20 years old movie or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice.
Really
nice. So, also, okay, can you do some accents? Like,
I can do some accents. Yeah, you want me to try them live on air?
I don't know. Yeah, why not, man? What accents you got, man?
There's the British RP. This is probably not a very good accent. I'm sort of dropping my T's, which means someone who's more sophisticated at understanding it would probably be able to pinpoint that I'm not actually speaking with my real accent, because there's no consistency as to where I do keep one T or another T, or drop the R or don't drop the R. But pretty standard British. You sort of
nice. He's also good at British. He also
you can do British.
He does it sometimes.
British or British. I don't know which one.
I try to do it, but it's really hard to say something like that, because like I try my best to do it, but when you start paying attention and then you see the difference.
I can do a poor version of Ireland too, but it's really just an impression of Colin Farrell. It's just me sort of talking.
Wow, that's so nice, man.
I was really wondering about the
I really wanted to learn that British one.
The Conor McGregor's accent. Irish.
Scottish.
It's Irish.
Is he Irish?
It's Irish.
Yeah, he's Irish.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. You're rat.
No, I like the way he speaks.
Yeah,
the thing is, he
really
doesn't care about the accent.
Irish is so cool, and Scottish is also on the other.
Yeah, I have an Indian accent, Nigerian accent. That's probably it.
Great.
There's some
great.
Chinese accents sometimes I have. Yeah, it's weird, man. Accents, like can you tell by the way like someone speaking when you speak to like whatever any foreigner that speaks in English, and then do you understand? Like, can you guess where he probably from?
Depends.
Did we hear a lot of Russian accents here?
Here, I mean, less accents and more just, on the street you hear Russian spoken, I think. But yeah, I can ID a Russian accent when I hear it.
Sure.
I live primarily in New York now. There's a lot of Russian speakers there.
Yeah.
I think I have a pretty good ear for most of them. And two, like, being a foreigner in India, I really found that like my ear for like when I could hear an American accent was like spot on. Right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. They're the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why I double checked the English teachers at my daughter's school. Like when I took her there, like I asked who's the English teacher. She's like, oh, this is our teacher. I was like, okay.
African.
Yeah, so I started speaking in English with her to hear if she's gonna use like have some accents and that, because I specifically said I don't want her to have this Russian accent, because not the z, not like thank you and all this. I didn't want that. So I had to double check, but it's nice. Yeah, I think now we were realizing, because we were the schools we went to
as a school, as a language center, we also pay attention. We also
it's important, man.
A lot of attention on that, because once you start talking to the students, and then they kind of adapt themselves to this accent, and then once they actually start speaking in this accent.
In India, do they have, like, all of them have the same accent?
No. So that's the thing, right? Is like there's a stereotypical like Indian accent that you see in Hollywood for like Indian Americans or whatever. But I actually had an acting teacher point this out, that actually everyone in India speaks English in a way that's like sort of close to their native language. So like the rhythm with which a Hindi speaker speaks is different than someone who speaks a Dravidian language like Tamil or Malayalam. There's a sort of a different pacing,
because it's one of the most not threatening accents. The Russian one sounds threatening, Indian one doesn't sound threatening, Nigerian sounds threatening.
Yeah. Would you tell me that?
Yeah, I used to, because who are you? I'm in front of your school now. Who are you?
Yeah, I have no comment on what's threatening or not threatening.
Because yeah, man, like I used to live with Nigerian guys, I used to live with Indian guys, I used to live with a lot of.
You experienced a lot.
Yeah, I actually lived in China for 10 years, in Beijing. So I came back 7 years ago. Came back to Kazakhstan. So, in China, you just in the same class with foreigners, like from all over the world, and then that's a good thing. You start hearing how because the class,
and you start differentiating.
Yeah, in
which
English.
Is good, actually.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, now I know who sounds like what.
As for English teacher, I think it's really important to know.
I used to have that Z accent. I used to have when I went to China for the first time. I was like, "Thank you." Yes, this is my friend. I used to speak like this.
Yeah.
And then this Italian classmate of mine, and she was like, "No, not Z. It's thank you, not thank you." It didn't make any difference for me, but and then later now, okay, I understand.
Okay.
And then now, a good thing I ended up living with these guys from America. Yeah, they taught me how to beer pong. Yeah, they used to party hard, man. I thought I'm the party animal, but those guys, man, they're crazy.
America can be like that.
Yeah, they taught me a lot of good things. I'm still in touch with them. They're still waiting for me to go there. So yeah, they still send those Borat memes to me. So yeah, and I text them like, "Hey, I'm trying to get a visa to America." Like, great success. Fine, I'm coming.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
It was great. I think it was great talk. I mean, we've known a lot about Hollywood today, and a lot of bias, a lot of stereotypes, but then. Out, not everything is true, right?
Not everything is true. Some things are true.
Yeah.
As with all things.
Yeah, and hopefully,
we'll try not to.
Hopefully, we're recording a podcast with the future.
Big star.
Amen.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Please, God, make it work. Yeah, thank you for your great energy, man.
Thank you
of course.
For your time.
My pleasure.
After flight, I hate doing things after my flights, man. Usually just a shower and get some pizzas and
shower, power nap, energy drink, and
exactly. What a great support for your.
I think that was unexpected, right? Like you just arrived here and then I'm gonna just wait.
Sure.
Yeah, ended up recording the podcast.
God's plan, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah, wishing you the best, bro.
Thank you.
It's nice having
John.
you here.
My pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Hey guys, everyone. This is our Jetil Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Put the thumbs up, and if you like the video, if you like our episode, share this video with your friends. We hope it was useful for you. See you soon at the next episodes. Goodbye, guys.
See you soon.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye-bye.